so flying geese are actually super easy once you get the hang of it. They might feel like daunting at first, because they can get a little wonky, but they all work out in the end. I say this for every quilting thing ever. Um, but don't stress because it'll work out. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is mark your small squares. So you start with 4 small squares and then you have 1 big square. So I like to use a Frixion pen, which is just like you can draw on it, whatever, and then it's heat based. So as soon as I put my iron on this, the ink will totally disappear. You can use that. I also sometimes just use just a lead pencil because I don't care. Um, and I don't know, there's probably people out there that would say don't do that. But this works great for me. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't use anything that could potentially bleed when you put in the wash though. So, Frixion pen, there you can buy fabric soluble to ruin this, but I have a cord here. You can buy fabric soluble markers too that will dissolve when you wash it. So, like, I think I have a couple here. Check one. So I have these chalk, but I hate them because I don't like they just get dull super quickly, and they also leave like a really big center line, which is just less precise. And then yes, you can fold them. You can either finger press them, and just go like this. So now there's a center crease there, so that works great. You can also iron them in half. So that way there's like a really nice crisp centerfold for with your iron. I do that sometimes. And then also you can use your sewing machine because these are small enough. You can just guide them. Well, I won't go over that method because it's a little more advanced. So we'll just go over these because especially if it's your first time, then you want to be as precise as possible. So I I like the method of folding, but I'll show you what happens when you fold it. Let me fold this real quick. Okay, so when you fold it in half, sometimes it will kind of like go like this. So then when you go to sew it on either side of this, I just find sometimes it gets a little bit wonky. I mean, it works great. It just sometimes I don't like how I'm like sewing on this like flipped up side. Um, but if you do fold both of these, then they kind of nest perfectly together, which is um. So I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll want to re-iron this. So I won't have to mark that one. So yeah, to avoid what I was just talking about, you can iron them in half and then iron them flat again, and they will keep like that little crease there. Again, I just like to mark them with my pencil. I know this takes longer. It's just, you know, just find it more accurate. I don't know. So just mark corner to corner on every single one of them. Yeah, I mean the lead pencil really works perfectly. Mechanical pencil. I don't know why I'm saying lead pencil. Okay, so now that these are marked, I'm going to get my pins out. Now, you don't have to pin it. You can put it here, put it through your sewing machine, and then add this on top, and then keep sewing. But I will pin for you guys. So 1 pin should be fine. both sides here. You just want to make sure the center line mostly lines up. I mean, do your best. And then when you're putting it through your machine, you can make sure that they're lined up. But you just want to make sure that the corners are perfectly square. Okay, so from here, okay. Okay, they use a hair. I'm just catching up here. Yeah, you could use a Hera. I personally don't find that any quicker than the previous methods. Yeah, like I would just probably, I don't know, finger press, but yeah, I do have a hair. If you don't know what a Hera marker is, I'll show it to you. Let me get one for you guys. It's a fancy Hera marker, but it basically just creates a nice line when you drag it on your fabric. Wow, that actually worked really well. Just be careful not to stretch your fabric when you do that. So, and you still need like a roller or something because you can't just like do that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go sew a 1/4 inch on either side. I usually sew with the scan seam allowance, so that's what I'm going to do. If you want me to go over that, I can. But I actually don't know if she wrote the pattern to like specifically need a scan seam allowance. I'm sure just a 1/4 inch is fine. But I'm gonna do that real quick and then come back. I have the wrong foot and plate on my machine today. I've been on a binding spree. So much binding. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or you want to talk out loud, since I'm just sitting here sewing, now's a good time to do that. I can answer as I go. Guys, let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to bring my sewing machine over to you, but I don't know if it's gonna work. See how creepy this is. I'm gonna have to stand. Actually, thing does not cooperate with me at all, as you can tell. All right,
You're good there.
it's mirrored. It's mirrored. I can undo that. I think I can undo that. Oh gosh, I don't even know there's a setting. Oh,
Yeah, it's not mirrored.
oh,
Yeah, somebody just said they in the chat they can read the stickers, and I've been staring at your machine. It's in the same direction as mine, so I
oh,
think you're
weird.
good.
Because for me, oh, you know what? This setting might be mirrored for me, which is very weird. I don't know why that would be a setting. On my end, it was mirrored. Okay. Okay,
Also,
so
Ainsley thinks you should get your husbands to make you the Hera markers on
oh
by your husbands. So just
yeah.
it's very important.
Oh, I guess I just realized that I have a curse word right here. Sorry, guys.
Or you just put
Um,
your hand over it when you sew, it'll be fine.
yeah. Oops. I know, but- Okay. Yeah, so basically I just sew a 1/4 inch down, and then when I get here, I just make sure that this fabric's not lined up and just keep going. I'm at a very weird far away angle for the sewing, so it's feels odd to me. And then you just want to make sure that you get it all perfectly in the corner. Sometimes fabric can be okay. And then I just flip it over and do the other side. You can take the pins out by now. But I usually change piece so you can just keep them in or put it down. You can also use one of these little guys, so that prevents this little bunching in the back. It drives me crazy, but it's not really that big of a deal. So it's called a lead. So I usually do that, but you don't have to. And then just go along. Okay, gonna push this bad boy out of the way. So we shoot over a bunch of stuff. All right, and then next you're going to use your ruler and cut along that line that you made. So just get rid of that lead. You put one there, and then line up corner to corner. Yeah, cut it in half. Okay, so you can see that like it wasn't perfect, that line. I mean, it's okay. This one's a little tighter, this one's a little thicker. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go iron these real quick. I'm just gonna press open. I mean, not press open, I'm gonna press outwards toward the small triangles. Okay, just a quick iron. And then once you come back here, you're going to layer these pieces like this in the corner. And then you can pin it, if you want to pin it like that, you can pin it like that. However you feel comfortable. I feel like it's always kind of awkward pinning these. Yeah, so you're gonna do that for both of these. And then you're gonna sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of that line. Just got that. Code is begging for attention right now. See, forgot the lead. Always forget. Also forgot to put the pin in right. If you don't know what chain piecing is, this is what chain piecing is. I'm just going to already jump right into my next one and not even lift my needle, not cut my thread or anything like that. Just jump right in and do both of them at the same time. And then cut my thread, and then I can keep them attached and do the other side. See, sometimes when you fold it, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to see the center line, to be honest. But it's okay, I actually just use my tape. I don't know what you guys can see. You can also use your tape here. So right here is where I tape. This is like where my quarter inch line is. So you can line up. So when you're sewing, you can line up that center line on that piece of tape. So there's a bunch of different ways you could do that. I just have washi tape, but there is actually like quarter inch tape that you can buy that you can do the same thing with. So yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to cut down this line again. And my husband used my rotary blade with his friend to cut some car vinyl. So I will be, I need to change my blade. And I only let him do it because I was desperate for a new blade anyway, so I'm surprised it's actually cutting.
It's actually worth checking hardware stores, either online or in person, for blades.
Oh,
Because they're the exact same blades that quilters use, but quilters get like 2 in a package as opposed to like 10 to 50 in a package for the same price as like
oh,
commercial
really?
dies. Yeah. It's
That's crazy. Pink
it's
tech.
exactly. But yeah, go look at your hardware store.
Okay. Yeah, I actually bought a pack of 10, but it was still very expensive. So if I can find a way
And
cheaper option.
I will totally admit to having bought them on like Wish or AliExpress, and they're so dirt cheap. They're not as good as,
Yeah.
but um, they definitely they still make it less expensive. But yeah, try your
Yeah.
hardware store.
Has anyone ever tried the sharpeners?
No, I barely sharpen my kitchen knives.
Yeah, it seemed kind of dangerous, but like, I mean, it is tempting with as
Yeah.
expensive as they are.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
When I go to estate sales of people that were crafters, I always buy the rotary blades
Oh,
that are
that's
in
so
package
smart.
because there's always some there and they're usually marked way down because people don't know where they are.
That's brilliant.
okay. All right, so that's basically it. Does anyone have any questions about the sewing aspect of this before I get into trimming? I feel like it's just
When
very straightforward.
when
Go ahead.
you layer your triangles, the first 2 triangles, does it matter which one is over the, because they're going to overlap in the middle? Does it matter which one is on the top, the first triangle or the second triangle?
No, I typically put the second one on top. Just because like as I'm going, I'll just layer it on top and make sure that nothing's getting tucked weird underneath. It
Yep.
doesn't matter, but that could potentially happen. So yeah. Um,
And Ainsley
okay.
finished hers in the chat.
Alrighty. So I'll get to like if it's a good want like the best roller to look at here. This one I guess will work. Okay, so we're trimming to 2.5 by 4.5 inches. So again, I'm gonna break out my handy dandy washi tape that I've had for years and years and use that. So I'm going to mark just outside my 2.5 line and so just outside the line so that way I can still see where the actual line is. It's just the guide that I can like reference very quickly. You don't have to do this, but if you're making a ton, then it makes seeing the process just go much quicker because you can quickly visualize like where you need to cut. Um, okay. Actually trying to think because it might be I don't like where this line is. So you can use this like 45-degree line on your roller um as a way of guiding kind of these triangles. So I think I'm actually going to use this side instead. So it won't be as pretty, but. Where is it? Okay, so we're just gonna pretend like this is 2.5 and 4.5. The same thing. That way I can use this 45-degree line to line things up. Okay, so now you want to mark 2.25 in, so that way you can. I'm gonna use this. That way you can easily spot the center point. So I'm gonna do 2.25 and then 1/4 inch down. All right. I feel like every time I do flying geese, I have to remind myself like the best way to trim these. And also, you can see. Okay, yeah, so you guys can see how that 45-degree line's like super helpful. So I immediately can put that right along that seam. So most rollers will have that, like this one has that line. I don't know why this one's just kind of weird, but yeah, even like the basic like OmniGrid has that 45-degree line. So definitely use that to your advantage here. So basically you just want to make sure that there is a 1/4 inch right here at the bottom. So you want to make sure that where this line is, that there's enough fabric covering that whole thing, but also that there's a 1/4 inch. So it's kind of close, and I feel like this is always the case with flying geese. You also want to make sure this corner perfectly is in that seam, and then where this corner is on the seam as well. You want to make sure that you're not cutting these like where there's like a big chunk like that. So make sure the corners are perfectly lined up, and then there's a 1/4 inch down here. So that looks like pretty good to me. Not perfect. You can see there's a little fabric. I don't know, like a little sliver that doesn't have fabric. It's okay. Yep. Okay, then we'll just flip it over. And from here, we're just gonna line up perfectly where that cut is, because it should be perfectly in the corner on that seam. And then from the remaining side. And then this should also be in the corner.
Rachel also mentioned there's a flying geese ruler.
Yeah, so I actually have one, but when I bought it, I bought the wrong size. So it's to the 3/4 inch, but this is what it looks like. So you can imagine this being the correct size.
Following the estate sale comment, I just bought a bunch at the estate sale. I thought I was going to get to use them for this, and they're the wrong size. None of them
Yeah,
are the right size.
these go to the, I don't know why, I don't know. But you could see that like you would perfectly line it up in the middle here. And it would be very helpful if this was the right size. But it's not. So you can essentially create your own doing that. Like you could make your own by what you would do this, but essentially creating your own 45 on the side here and then like drawing a line. But I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't, unless you're doing like a lot of flying geese. I don't know. I try not to be a ruler collector, even though it's tempting. I have my go-tos. Really need the new blade. I feel like these calls are when I really realize I need a new blade.
You're probably more self-conscious.
Yeah. All right, anyone have any questions? I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain where everything lines up, so I hope it's coming in clear in the video. Try to get too contrasting.
Ainsley says the tape is great. I was worried about the trimming.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the trimming is definitely the trickiest part of flying geese. Tape is super helpful. Like I don't really have to think about it. I just line the 45 up and then the corners. Be careful of your fingers. And there you go. Yeah, and then here, like, so you'll see, I put that dot in the beginning here. You'll see that that dot should line up perfectly where that 1/4 inch is. Just so you know, you have that 1/4 inch of seam allowance right there. So see, it's like, I don't know if you could see it, it's perfectly there. Really not too difficult once you get into the swing of trimming. It's really no big deal.
So what's your process if you're like if we weren't all staring at you, would you like chain the top 2 squares on a whole bunch and then do a whole bunch of cutting and then do the squares 3 and 4 across?
Yeah, so I would do all of the first 2 squares first. Cut them all, iron them all, and then chain piece the second 3 and 4 squares on, and then trim all at the end. Okay. There it is. Any more questions while I got my sewing machine out? My iron. No. Trying to think of what else
The
there
chat
is
is
to
quiet.
it. Okay.
What's the worst that could go wrong? Just like too large of a seam allowance and then kind of an
Oh,
undersized goose.
yeah, so that is a big thing. Well, I just trimmed it. Okay, so you can see here how there's like, so this side is a little bit less than the other side, so there's like kind of this like weird like overhang. If you're sewing not really straight, then it could be to the extreme where this one's like way lower and then this one's way higher, and then you might not be able to get that full 1/4 inch seam allowance there. So your points might get cut off. This pattern seems like there's enough wiggle room where it shouldn't be too big of an issue. But I would do a couple rounds and make sure that's not an issue for you, and you might want to tighten that seam allowance and make it a little smaller. But there's also issues with that as well because it can make your, well, no, that should be fine. Yeah, so that's like the main thing. And honestly, it's like not too big of a deal unless it's like really extreme. Because like what I'll do is I'll just fudge this when I'm sewing. So like if it's a little bit higher, like this is probably a full 1/4 inch on the left side and then like a 1/16 of an inch off on the right. I'll just sew this to be a little tighter and it won't be like a full 1/4 inch, but at the end of the day you won't notice it'll be hidden inside your quilt. And yeah, so basically the worst thing that could happen is your points get cut off. Also you have to make sure, oh, I wish I had another example for you. If you're not lining up, okay, so say I have like this and I'm not lining up this 1/4, you could just have like a side that does not come to the corner. So this seam might just like end early and then there might be some overhang here. And then you've already cut this side, so you can't really fix it. So really you do have to make sure that these corners are perfectly along the seam allowance. I hope that makes sense because I wish I had an example. Let me see if I did. a piece of. Trying to see if there's like.
There's also 2 more questions in the chat when you're ready.
Okay.
Pam.
Okay. Oh, what marker did I use to mark the roller? These are actually fabric markers. I love these. They're permanent fabric markers. I sign my quilt and, label them with this. They are great. They have a thick side and then a really thin side. Hold on, let me let my dog out. And then, but that is a permanent marker, so you will have to use like alcohol or, sometimes I can just get it off my nail. Yeah, you just scrape it off your nail. But it is permanent. Okay. Are we opening the seams open or to the side? Blind geese, I'm always team open. Blind geese, I tend to open outward. But for the sake of a mystery solo, I always suggest opening your seams because you don't know what it's gonna look like. Can't really plan. It prevents bulky seams. Just makes for a flatter block. So up to you. That's yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Not in the chat right now.
Okay. I haven't even started cutting mine yet.
Did you make a sample?
I did not make a sample. Julie made a sample. So I planned on sewing it with you guys, but got caught up in a bunch of things. But so I will be making a sample. Here's my bin of my sample fabric. So I'm doing the
Ooh.
2-tone version. Rainy day, Ruby Star. With this backing. And it matches the book like perfectly. So that was
So
accidental. I did not. Oh, go
I
ahead.
did have another question. So clearly for this square, it doesn't matter which color we pick. And I've never done a mystery quilt before.
Okay.
When it matters for our colors, would they be labeled? Because they're clearly just labeled A 1 through 8.
They don't matter. Sorry. No, it should not matter because we're just gonna mix them all together.
Okay, and we'll just do the layout whenever we do the
Yeah. So we'll get more information on that, but right now you don't need to do anything like that.
But in some mystery quilts it might.
Yeah, so some mystery quilts. So are you asking if you should be labeling the colors right now, or are you asking if it matters
Yeah.
which colors okay. Yeah, some mystery, most mystery so longs, every color has a color name.
Mhm.
It depends if it's a back quarter friendly one, scrappy friendly. It really just depends on the pattern. A lot of, I would say half of them aren't pre-cut friendly and have this pattern has 5 colors. So you have to keep track of that.
Yeah.
And then it'll matter for the overall what it'll look like at the end. So yeah, right now it's just you don't have to worry about that.
Cool. That's a good answer.
Yeah. Okay. The rest of the time we can just hang out. I'm gonna not spotlight myself anymore. Okay, I'm using print. Should I put those in the center triangle? Okay.
I think you're showing all of them, aren't you? Because the background is
Yeah,
the big triangle and then all your smaller prints
yes.
and blenders are
Yeah,
on the
so right
side.
now, okay, so yeah, it's confusing because we have sizes for both of them, but right now you're just showing the 8 colors to the background as like this center triangle. So yeah, these should all be your background. What my gray was. Remove spotlight. It's like any other questions regarding flying geese? Oh, I like your shirt, your stripy shirt, Diana. I almost bought that.
Oh, Ainsley has a good question.
Okay.
How do you open seams where the seams overlap?
Okay, so when you open up the seams, it won't. I should have opened these seams up. Um, it won't matter because you're opening like the first two first. Those are being open, and then you're gonna sew your 3 and 4, and then open those. So it's kind of like origami. Like it'll all just work out fine. And you don't really have to. It's gonna like be the same amount of overlapping. It's just what it'll look a little different when you're trimming it, but it shouldn't. Yeah, it looks
Ooh,
like Megan has one.
Megan's got it on blur.
Yeah. Okay, it showed like for a second there. But yeah, once you trim it, it won't matter at all. Yeah, there you go.
I like that fabric.
Yep. Yeah, it's cute.
Can you turn your fabric around?
Cute.
Very nice.
Okay. Oh, that's cute.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good example of how it looks overlapped.
you got the whole family.
Joining us. That's so cute. Is it someone's birthday? Are we joining a birthday party?
Yes, actually, it's his birthday, but it's also they don't have school tomorrow, so Lucy has like her Valentine's Day haul of I don't know what,
Oh,
Halloween.
cute. Happy birthday.
Anyway, so, yeah, you guys get to join in. Yeah, they waved to you. That's very exciting. Oh,
We
there you
can
go.
wave again.
There you go. Everyone waves. There you go. Okay. 3-year-olds.
That's so cute. Okay, hold on a second. Well, that's it for my tutorial, so. Um, has anyone started the book? It seems like a good amount of people have read it or have started it in the channel. It's much smaller than I expected. I feel like this is our shortest long book yet. So
Started it. I like it so far.
yeah, I feel like I need to like wait to read it till like a few weeks before. So I don't want to forget about it. Forget what happened. But I'll probably bring it to Phoenix next week. So
I'm taking your class next week, Taylor, by the way.
oh yay. Which one?
The one on Saturday, the color one.
Okay, cool.
I
Yay.
forget what it's called, but
Color craft workshop. Color craft something.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about that. It'll be fun. I got two. Oh, that's my afternoon class. I am wondering if I'll have a voice by then. I have like another class right before that, and then what am I saying? Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Phoenix. Who else is going to Phoenix or QuilCon? Okay, hold on. I gotta answer this picture.
I'm going.
Okay. Okay, I see the example of where the yeah, without that quarter inch. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about, where you don't you already have that like weird overhang and it doesn't meet up in on the seam. Aaron, is that how you pronounce your name? Aaron? Yes, okay. Um okay, who else said they were going? Sorry, I'm just distracted right now. Me.
Me, I'm going.
Yay.
My first
Okay,
time
well
going, I'm really excited.
oh yay. Yeah, it's
I
a
used to
lot of
go quite a
fun.
bit, but that was before the pandemic. This is my first time since 2020.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I my first QuilCon was like the year after the pandemic. So it was the first time I was in Phoenix and then now it's back. So
Yeah. I think the 2020 was in Austin. It was just before everything shut down. So
oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Didn't go to that one, but Austin, that'd be fun to go there.
Yeah, it was fun. That was the OG play, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah. I know. I wish they would bring it back to I don't know. They keep doing like I think they bought in bulk Phoenix, Atlanta, Raleigh. So it's just gonna keep going Phoenix, Atlanta, Raleigh, I'm pretty sure for the next several years.
Phoenix at least is easier to fly into for us.
Yeah, it is not so great for West Coast people to because Raleigh and Atlanta are not that far from each other and they're Atlanta's fine to fly into, but Raleigh was very difficult. It's like a I don't know. There
Yeah.
was not a lot of good flight times and I did a red eye there and
Mm.
yeah.
But I hear that's a nice city. I haven't been. I didn't do that one. I haven't been there, but
Yeah. I feel like Raleigh was it was much smaller of a I don't know, it felt like Phoenix if Phoenix and Atlanta really feels like you're like at a convention with everyone because everyone's like kind of staying right there, whereas Raleigh just like can't support that. So people are kind of like all over and I don't know, very different, but
yeah,
all fun nonetheless.
really, oh, it doesn't matter once you get in there. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I went to one of the really early ones. It wasn't the first one, but it was maybe the second or third. And that was when they were really small and young, and they were doing actual tattoos in the exhibit hall. So you could get,
Oh, really?
oh yeah, they had tattoo artists there, so you could get tattoos.
That's
Why they get rid of that?
Well, they're getting bigger and more mainstream. So that was back in the day.
yeah, but that's
You
part
know,
of
I would
that
have
should be part of their
expected them to be
charm.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hmm.
It was wild.
Wow. We should all sign a petition for them to bring that back.
The tattoo artist back there.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, everyone
That'd
would
be
get like scissors, or things.
Yeah, they're just like a flash seater or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fun. I'm sure that would be a huge hit again. I just think it would be really hard to there'd be a huge line for it. We would need several tattoo artists.
Yeah. I'm sure it'd be super popular.
Yeah, definitely. I thought about doing a little like tattoo booth like that for my wedding.
Yeah, Hillary Burton did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if you know her from One Tree Hill or whatever else she does, but
Mm,
she had a
Like they did she did tattoos at her wedding. Because I
That's
listened to
cool.
the One Tree Hill podcast and she would talk about that.
Oh, did you read the Dinner for Vampires book?
No, I'm on a hold, so I'll get to it eventually.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've heard, like I said, like through the podcast, Joy Lenz, she talked about it a lot. So it's just like I've heard
Yeah.
some
Okay, so you
bits.
like kind of know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Before the
It
book
was,
came out, she was pretty hush hush about it because I guess she just wanted to like sell books. But now that it's out, she just brings it up a lot more.
yeah, that makes sense. She had to have the shock factor
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
of a book
She like,
release.
yeah, because she like dropped that fact on the podcast and like everyone was blowing up about it afterwards. Everyone was like, wait, what?
I didn't even know there was a One Tree Hill podcast.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't really watch that.
oh I started watching that I think in college, but um it started as her, Sophia Bush, and Hillary Burton, but then once, spoilers for One Tree Hill if anyone hasn't seen it, but Hillary Burton leaves the show at some point, and then one of the characters that comes onto the show after she leaves takes her place
Oh, okay.
in the podcast. So now it's the third
Hmm.
person. His name is Robert Buckley. He's like, just I don't know him from anything else but One Tree Hill. So
Gotcha. Hmm. Maybe I should watch it.
yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't listen to the podcast unless you've seen the show all the way through because they spoil
No, yeah. Oh, tomorrow's the new Olivia's not on the call, but tomorrow's the new Love is Blind on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
They had to drop it on Valentine's Day.
No, it's conveniently on a Friday.
I know. I'm curious how this one will go. They're all so going downhill now though.
Yeah, I feel like I watch like every other season.
Yeah, yeah. I don't feel like I don't know if I watched the last one. So, but yeah, I'm not really watching anything else. Started watching The Office again,
Mm.
which is, I guess pathetic in itself, but
I've
I
been
just
watching
feel
the new like Office type show. Have you heard like St. Dennis Medical?
no.
Oh, that's like
Think.
the new Office type show, but it's in an ER.
Oh, okay.
And I have a lot of like experience in healthcare and working in an ER, so it's pretty funny to me at least.
I have to check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
the
know.
same network as The Office. So if you
Okay.
have Peacock, they upload them
There's
all
a
there.
new Australian Office.
Oh.
Interesting.
What's that on?
I don't
Yeah.
remember. I know I saw the trailer on YouTube. And it's led by a woman, actually. Michael's character is a woman as opposed to the last two.
Oh,
I like that.
Nice.
Oh, Ainsley saw the Australian one. She said it was good. Yeah, it looked like it looked like a really solid cast when they were on there. It looked like a good ensemble.
do they like recreate the Office, like other offices, like, or do they just like have their own, every episode's like a new plot? Like it
Yeah,
has nothing
'cause,
to do
like,
with the other one. It's just the
when the
same
US
idea.
Well,
when the US season started, they just like did the same exact plots as the first season of the UK version, and then they went their own way.
yeah, so it's like hit and miss because they reused a lot of UK plot hooks later on, but they stopped following the plot. So like some of the stuff, like some of the shenanigans they got up to later, like they do the same kind of thing, but they weren't following the plot anymore. Ainsley says, I think they did more of a spin-off than the Office one of the UK. It was,
Okay.
but it was fun. Must be new Phyllis or whatnot.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, this must be this version of this character.
Oh, right. Typing.
Yeah, like this is, yeah.
I love that you put an extra E in typing. I feel that's as a deeply dyslexic librarian, I feel that.
Yeah, I would be interested to watch that. I can only watch The Office until Michael leaves. Like I can't watch it
Yeah,
anymore.
same.
So I'm like, I think I'm nearing that. And also, you watch it so quick because the episodes are 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Traders, I've seen that one on Peacock. I haven't clicked on it yet. Quite fun.
I've been starting to watch The
Yeah.
Good Place. That's pretty interesting.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good
it's
one.
so
That's a good
good.
one.
What is that on Peacock?
I think Netflix has that one.
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix because
Yeah.
we don't have Peacock.
Okay.
My husband was trying to get me into Parks and Rec, and we got like the second or third episode, and it's just I am already medicated for
you have to keep
anxiety.
going.
I don't.
Everyone
Parks
says
and Rec
skip
is
the first
funny.
season.
You have to
Hey,
keep going.
Yeah.
Get to
Parks
season
and Rec is
2.
really funny. Yeah.
Can you just
That's a
skip
good
to
one.
season 2? That is my
Yeah.
deep question.
Yeah, I would say you probably could. If you've seen the first few episodes, I would say, yeah, like it's not that big. Just look up like major plot points in the rest of the season and then just go for it.
Hey, Ainsley's
Yeah.
disagreeing with you in the chat. I feel I need to defend her.
You need to know the characters. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
the episodes aren't. You could probably just push through season 1.
It's a short.
Yeah, they're
first
short
season.
episodes.
Yeah. I don't know.
But like,
Yeah.
there's basically like a whole bunch of new characters that just kind of come on the scene that change up the whole dynamic. It's very good. It's better than The Office in my opinion.
And everybody says that. We started to watch it, and I was just like, I can't watch.
Yeah.
Just-
I like the Parks and Rec. What other one was I rewatching recently? I started rewatching Modern Family, but I stopped, and then
Schitt's Creek is good. You can watch that one multiple times.
yeah. Oh, I've watched that a
Mm.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
I tried Schitt's Creek and I got a good bit in, but I just wasn't vibing with it, and I ended up just rewatching Arrested Development because I felt like that's what it was trying to do.
How far did you get into Schitt's Creek? 'Cause I think it's the same thing as Parks and Rec. Like I think it gets
Probably
funnier.
not through the first season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same thing. You have to get through the
Yeah.
first season of Schitt's Creek.
The problem is
Like-
I was watching it on Hulu and there were ads, and I was just like, these episodes are
Oh.
too short for all of these ads. I just can't do it.
I know I'm about to cancel my Hulu because I'm like, why am I paying
Yeah.
for these ads and I don't want to pay double to get the ads removed when I already have Netflix and Peacock.
Yeah,
It's going full circle.
I was getting Hulu through Spotify, and then I canceled my Spotify, so now I have like 3 days left of Hulu before it gets canceled.
Yeah, I've got Hulu
Yeah.
through Spotify, and then I canceled my Netflix because they're jacking up the rate, and I don't want to
Yeah.
do it there. It's like, cancel for now.
I feel a little spoiled in Canada sometimes because we have Crave, which is one of the it's more like it's Bell, which is more like Verizon or somebody rather than
Okay.
so we get a whole bunch of HBO, we get a whole bunch of Hulu. You don't get everything, but because they're licensing for Canada, you get like a smattering of everything. So I can get like when Handmaid's Tale comes on, it'll be on there, but then there's also a bunch of Paramount stuff too. So I don't have to have like 6 streaming
Mm.
services, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So we're just going back to what it was like 10 years ago before all this.
Well, because
Yeah.
it's run by the cable company. They have their cable. And so what they really want
I know. It's like, why can't we just
We
it's
have
the
un-
cable company running a streaming platform. It's great.
insane? I've thought about starting Handmaid's Tale again, but I don't know if I can do it.
I read the
don't know if
book and
I
I
wanna
was like,
rewatch.
I'm good.
I watched it, but every time, like I would watch it by myself because my husband was like, I'm absolutely not watching this. And every time he came in, like the most messed up thing was happening on the
Mm.
screen, and I was like, I promise that's not the only thing that. But and then I'm like, well, I guess it kind of is like mostly messed up stuff happening. So
That's just like Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. Every time, like, my husband gave up on it for a while, and then we came back for the last season, which was kind of dumb. But every time
Yeah.
we walk back in, he's like, "It's still terrible. They're still just destroying each other." He's like, "Why do I want to watch people be violent to each other all day? I could watch the news."
That's why
I started
there's that-
watching
yeah.
American. Is that on American
Yeah.
Premiere? What is
Primeval. Yeah.
Primeval? Yes, I don't know. I was
Yeah.
saying
Same. I
Premiere.
tried watching I got 2 episodes in. I was like, this is just too violent for me right now.
I was like, this is good, but I can't.
Yeah.
I've been watching a bunch of dubbed K-drama on
Oh,
Netflix. And yeah, I'm like, no, if I'm gonna spend my like time, I want light and fluffy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lori's watching Superstore, which was excellent. Same creator is
When I started
doing
watching
St. Dennis Medical.
Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
That's the same creator.
Oh, Superstore is really funny. Highly suggest that too.
Yeah.
Lori just suggested it in the comments. Good show. I watched the Housewives show. Yeah, I'm actually kind of ready for Love is Blind. I feel like I need some trash TV
For
to
sure.
distract. Like I don't know. I think it's in Minnesota. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wait,
Yeah.
what's in
In
Minnesota? Love is
the
Blind?
next Love is Blind. Is it? Don't quote me on that. Hold
Well,
on.
then maybe I canceled my Netflix too soon. I live in Minnesota,
Right.
so that would have been really interesting.
It's in. Yeah, Minneapolis.
Oh.
Oh well.
I feel like a lot of like those like, is that considered Midwest?
Kind of
Yeah.
upper Midwest, yeah.
Yeah, because like the most recent Top Chef was in Wisconsin, so like I feel like those states are getting a lot more love these days.
That was a good Top Chef.
It was good. I'm a huge Top Chef. I've seen every single season. My mom and I, we look forward to it. Every new season, we like count down to it.
Oh, I know. I'm ready for it to come back.
I know, same. And I think Kristen is like a great new
Oh my
host.
God, I love her.
Yeah,
She is a badass.
yeah.
She's awesome.
Love her.
Where is it going to be this time? I'm forgetting.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It just kind of shows up at one point. And I'm just like, oh, nice. Great.
Yeah, it's going to be at a good city, I think.
I can look it up.
Lost my camera somehow.
March
I think Top Chef's gonna
13th.
be in Toronto.
Oh, it's in Canada. Yeah.
Cool.
It's Toronto, Calgary, Montreal, Canmore, and Prince Edward Island.
That's good.
More.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Canmore.
I was born in Prince Edward Island.
Hey, you gotta watch Top Chef.
We got some good food over there.
Well, that's what's cool is you get to learn other areas' food.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of the previous contestants lives in Paducah, which is the quilt capital.
I did not know that was the quilt capital.
Yeah, right here in Kentucky. I drove through it. I went to the National Quilt Museum there. It was pretty cool.
Does anyone know? My camera just like went to using FaceTime with my phone. Does anyone know how to stop that?
You might need to leave and come back.
Yeah, I don't want it to end. Oh, I should stop the recording now, actually. Or is
This
it
is
even recording
informative
anymore?
if you need to know what shows to watch.